All right, so first, a couple of things. We're going to talk about hiring contractors and what you're going to get out of them, but also tomorrow we're going to try our monthly meeting virtually, as you can see. We're going to have it on Google Hangouts. Tomorrow is April 2nd. Today's April 1st, April Fool's. 4 to 5:30 p.m. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know what's going to be. Hopefully everybody knows to mute themselves. It's going to be a Google Hangout. I'm going to send out, the link's going to be below, and I'm going to send it out to everybody that's come to the meetings before. We have a pretty big list of people that have come. So if you can come to the meeting, we're going to talk about what's going on in the current situation, the coronavirus situation. We'll talk about it a little bit on this video also. Also, we're going to talk about, that's probably what we're going to talk about mostly, because it's a big deal and people are concerned. So we're going to talk about how you should be reacting. I think I've pretty much come up with a strategy, although what the hell do I know? Also, if you like these videos, please click like below. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Share them. Comment. We answer all the comments. Today's video is really coming by request, and it is talking about the contractor triangle. Now, I had never heard it phrased that way as the contractor triangle, but I had always talked about, you get 2 out of 3 things with a contractor. One second, I'm super thirsty. And that is inexpensive, fast, and good. You can almost always, not almost always, sometimes you get none, sometimes you get 1, but if you're lucky you get 2. You usually can't get 3. So what does that mean? First of all, as investors, which of the 2 are most important? So there definitely is an issue with timing, right? Time is money for us, right? If we get into a project, the longer we wait, the less money we make. So you would think fast is really important. For some people it is. But the one thing I usually give up is speed in exchange for good pricing and good work. Now, it's almost impossible to find all 3, and if you do find all 3, that's a guy you should never let go. If a guy is inexpensive, fast, and good. But usually it's going to be, you can't go hire retail guys, right? You can't hire a guy, you can't take a quote for a retail guy that's going to do a $100,000 rehab for a homeowner and charge you $100,000, because the money can't work. Now, obviously, at some point, if he takes so much more time, it's going to equal, that time is going to equal enough money that you should have paid more. You can't have time be an issue where it's 6 months more. But if a guy's going to take an extra month and he's going to be significantly less expensive, then you have to think about it, right? And obviously the work has to be good to a level where you're okay. If you're doing rentals, it's a lower level than if you're doing rehabs where you're going to sell them to a retail buyer. But these are all the things you have to work on. It's a problem, right? Contractors are always a problem. People want some magic formula to find the good contractors. There isn't. I've had videos about it. It's just not an easy thing. We went through many contractors when we first started who were good for one job. When we gave them 2 jobs, they were horrific. We went through many contractors who were good and then turned out not to be good. So it's a challenge, right? It's a challenge now also, because in the beginning, I think construction was seen as an essential service, and now it's not so much. I have a kitchen guy who I use, delivered cabinets to a rehab that we're doing right now, and got like a citation from Nassau County that he's better shut down. So like he was supposed to do the countertops, and he never even measured for them. It's not so great. Things are tough now. Things are tough getting things done, and we're starting April, and it's almost certainly going to be the month of April. I hope towards the end of April things restrictions start getting lifted, but we'll see. It's not an easy time. Just keeping your head and not going crazy is not easy either. The question of marketing is not simple. New York is really ground zero for this, right? I know probably 25 people have tested positive, right? They're all okay. One's in the hospital, but he should make a full recovery. One was in the ICU, but he got out. He's making a full recovery. Most people have almost no symptoms. And you cannot get tested here. You can't. My daughter is dating a guy who had a fever and cough and could not get tested. Could not get tested. They told him stay home. Right? If you say you're short of breath, you can't breathe, then they might test you. My friend's son had that, and he got tested, and he was positive. I think there's a lot more people who have who are positive for the virus who just have almost no symptoms. I think right now in the active cases, over 95% are considered mild. And I got to believe there's a lot more people who have almost no symptoms. So I know a couple of weeks ago they approved an antibody test where you can see if you've had the disease. And I think they need to get 15 million of those tests into New York and really get an idea of what the rate was, what's the story is this. I think a lot of people had it and could not get tested or did not get tested. That's my thoughts on that. So back to contractors. Most contractors, again, are usually on the lower end of the totem pole. They were a subcontractor, they worked for a subcontractor, and then they decided to go into business for themselves. Sorry, I'm drinking a lot, I apologize. They're not businessmen. They don't know how to manage their time. They don't know how to manage their finances. It's problematic, especially when you give them multiple jobs to juggle. Very often they can't. So fast, inexpensive, and good, those are the three things that you got to sort of debate as to where you can give some leeway. The only way I found to help with speed is to give guys price and say if it's not done by this time, how long is this going to take? I say a month. I say I'll give you 6 weeks. If it's not done by 6 weeks, you're making less and less money. But at some point, there's diminishing returns, because if the guy is taking 2 months and you only owe him a little, and he sees that he's not going to make that because of the penalties, then he's not going to finish. So who did you help? So it's a big problem. It's a big problem getting contractors who can do the job right. We cannot pay full retail markup for these things. We have to have a certain level, depending on who we're selling it to. A certain level of craftsmanship has to be done decent enough, and it's got to be done timely enough that you cannot get your ass kicked by insurance costs and holding costs. So those are my thoughts on the contractor triangle. I wish I could help. Like I said, if I give up one of them, it's usually speed. But sometimes speed's really important, and you got to tell the guy it's got to be done by this, and I'll pay you extra if you finish by a certain time. I think maybe incentivizing people with extra money that's worked for me a couple of times. But the level of good is very hard to determine, right? You see other guys work, they show you pictures, you can't really tell if it's good, right? If a guy knows how to really put in tiles right, and then what happens is you'll see guys work, and he had a great tile guy do a job in a bathroom, and then the guy comes there, and that tile guy is working for somebody else, and somebody else does the job, and it's not as good. So it's very hard to figure out quality, the good part of it. It's very hard. So those are my thoughts. I'm trying to get into a good rhythm here, making a lot of calls, trying to call people, friends, family, business acquaintances, everyone. I think I'm trying to reach out because I think a lot of people aren't reaching out. I'm calling people that I had business dealings with a year ago, and they're super impressed that I reached out. I'm like, I don't know, what's the big deal? I'm just calling to see that you're okay, right? I'm not asking for anything. I'm not asking for business. I'm not asking for deals. I'm not asking for anything. I'm just calling to check on people and see if they're okay. And I think everyone should do that. I mean, we all have so much freaking time. So that's what I'd recommend. We're going to get through this nightmare, but when, I have no freaking idea. And hopefully everybody's safe and healthy. And if you want to join tomorrow, Thursday, April 2nd, between 4 and 5:30, there's a link to a Google Hangout below. Thank you.